There's the Yahrzeit of Ben R Shlomo Hillel Zev, Ben R Shlomo Shlita, Tzedokoh, soll sein L'ilui for his neshama. Say over something for me. Isaiah says, "Im kasef talves ami es oni imo." So Rashi says that the bracha es oni. What does it mean as oni? Shlei tilig boy milig b'zion bahalוואה shu ami. That when a person is lending money to an oni, he shouldn't be noyig with him a milig b'zion. So he says that the pashtus is that what's the yisoid that a person shouldn't be noyig a milig b'zion when he's giving the halva is because the whole yisoid of the halva is to be mishtatef in the tsar of Yanim and to show Yanim Nachmanis. Means you're giving a halva to make it easier for somebody else. So the fact that you're going to be noyig milig b'zion b'shas ma'isa when you're giving the guy halva, so you're losing the whole mitzvah. The whole mitzvah is to make it easier for him to be mishtatef in the tsar. And over here, if b'shas when you're giving the halva, you're being goyer mitzvah, so then it defeats the whole purpose of the halva. You're losing the whole value of the mitzvah. So he says that Bamis. No. He's saying that he's being masber. That's the shot. But he says that Bamis is that we see that it's more than that. We find by the mitzvah Tzedokoh steht l'sikvus es yodcha v'leisa amitz es levavcha v'leyeir levavcha v'sitcha like yilal adavra zeh yivrecha Hashem alikecha. That there's, when it comes to the mitzvah Tzedokoh, so it says a lot in the Torah l'sikvus leisa amitz, and it says the Torah finishes off and it says v'leyeir levavcha v'sitcha like so there's a shayla in Taisus asks in Balbasa that why is there din kviyah? Why is there din that you force a person to give tzedakah? That the halacha is that when there's matan tzchor b'tzida, then you force a person. When there's no matan tzchor b'tzida, then you don't force a person. So one of the terutzim that they say is because since there's also a lav, by a lav you are koifim. The Mishnah Malach says that the matan tzchor b'tzida is going on the v'leyeir levavcha b'tzidcha lei. That because of the v'leyeir levavcha, that there's a halacha that when you give tzedakah, you can't have a bad feeling in your heart. And it's over there. It says v'leyeir levavcha b'tzidcha lei ki b'glal adavra azeh yivrecha Hashem. So Mela, there is a matan tzchor b'tzida. So over here it's mashma that the ikar mitzvah of tzedakah is v'leyeir levavcha b'tzidcha. According to Mishnah Melech, it's mashma that the main mitzvah of tzedakah is that a person shouldn't have a bad feeling in his heart. B'shas when he gives the halva. Now, if you think about it. What's the yisoid of l'yeir levavcha b'sitcha? That a person shouldn't have a bad feeling in his heart. A person, it can't be that the pshat is that because the ani is going to be embarrassed when you give it to him because he knows that you're not giving it to him wholeheartedly. But because over here it's mashra, it's a davar shu b'leiv. It's a davar that the ani doesn't necessarily see. It's a feeling that a person has in his heart. So it's a davar asavim and something that the ani doesn't see b'chlal. So even if the ani doesn't know that you have a bad feeling, the marshal guy goes and he puts on a smile and he makes it look like he's happy to give it to him, and b'chol nikra the guy. Okay, so B'chol says that even so, a guy can tell. A guy can tell the way. Yeah. So, v'chonen zok that a person could tell. He could tell what the dvorm should believe is never something which is something in ayin. But over here we're talking about afilu if it's shayach that there is such a musik that a guy could keep it into his heart. So he says a yisoid that we think that the whole yisoid of the mitzvah of tzedakah is that a man shall have nachmanis on the oni. That the yisoid is that why did the Rebbeinu Shalom make it that this tzedakah? The teretz is because a person has to have nachmanis. There's a person nebuch that doesn't have parnasa, so you have to have nachmanis on him, and you have to give to him. So he says that bemis that's a toys. The other person has to have Rahmanis on. But that's not why the Rebbeinu Shalom gave us a mitzvah tzedakah. The Rebbeinu Shalom gave us a mitzvah tzedakah bigger is as I state that mitzvahs weren't given to Klal Yisrael. Elokadei the tzarif behem esabris. That a person has a mitzvah because a mitzvah is an avodah, and when a person does a mitzvah, through the mitzvah he's meroimim himself, he elevates himself, and he works on his own self-perfection through the doing of the mitzvah. And the yisoid of mitzvah tzedakah is that a person himself becomes a better person by the fact that a person gives tzedakah to his friend. Now, if a person has a roya b'leiv, if a person feels left in his heart, even if the yanim doesn't know it, but the person himself has a bad feeling in his heart when he gives tzedakah, so then he's missing in the ikar of the mitzvah, because the ikar of the mitzvah is to be meroimim, that it should elevate him through the asiyas of mitzvah. But if a person has that bad feeling in his heart, so that defeats the purpose. And the emes is that it's some Mefurish Gemara brings that the Gemara says that there is rupus asa bekiva. In Makodik Baruch Hu Oyev is Haniyim Lam Meinam Efarnesim. The Gemara in Balbatsim Tafir Amar Aleph says that Tunis Rupus asa bekiva, if the Rebbeinu Shalom loves Haniyim, so how come he does? He's not Mefarnes Haniyim. The bekiva gesagt Kadei Sheniske Behem, that we should be zoiche with the mitzvahs. That means that Avad mitzad the midas arachmanis, the Rebbeinu Shalom can take care of the ani. He doesn't need you to take care of the ani. Now, why did the Rebbeinu Shalom make a mitzvah tzedakah? Why did he make it that there is somebody who's less fortunate and there's somebody who's more fortunate? Because through the fact that a person gives tzedakah, a person is roimim through the mitzvah tzedakah. And we find the same musik by Avram Avinu, that Avram Avinu was mitzdayer when he didn't have any orchim. And they asked what shayach that he was mitzdayer that he didn't have any orchim. If nobody needed the services, he should be very happy. Be very happy that nobody needed the services. So there it is that Avram was looking for yana perfection. Yana mitzaref behem mitzabiyas. He was looking for the asiyas mitzvahs for his own avodah, for his own elevation. So the fizeh, he's masber that steht in Anfang Parsha steht the eila mishpatim asher tosim lefneim. So Rashi says there's a vav moisef. What's the vav moisef? Gam elu misinai. Now what does it mean gam elu misinai? That the pshat is that over here is a parsha on the Torah that we're talking about mitzvahs that have been adam l'chavrei. So what does it mean that when it comes to mitzvahs ben adam l'chavrei, you might think that the pshat is mitzvahs ben adam l'chavrei. The tafkid of the mitzvah ben adam l'chavrei is that is just like lahavdal alef havdalos. We have laws by the goy that there should be shalom and bailam. So a person does a mitzvah ben adam l'chavrei to be native with his friend, to be nice to his friend. But no, the teretz is gam elu misinai, that even the mitzvahs that have been adam l'chavrei are like the mitzvahs of ben adam l'makim. That the yisoid of the mitzvah, the main tafkid of the mitzvah is that a person should be mitzaref esabriyas, that a person has a mitzvah because through the mitzvah a person is mitzrayim, a person becomes elevated through the asiyas mitzvah, the person shir koima becomes greater through the asiyas mitzvah. So therefore there's an extra doggage when it comes to the mitzvah, that a person has to be margish in his slave, that not just mitzad the rachmanis that he has towards yanim, but the pshat is that because to get to the tafkin of the mitzvah, to elevate the person has to have a good feeling in his heart, and like that he can acquire the emes hatzir through the asiyas ha-mitzvah.